Hi, I'm Eric Gross from ZenView Studio, much more than a recording studio. In today's episode, we'll go over how we went from MacBooks 2011-2012 to MacBooks capable of running 2025 software, evidently without buying any new MacBooks. We just allowed them to run more efficiently with what's not supposed to be the case, that is macOS Sierra running on them. What I will explain today is actually not so much how to install the software, but rather how to manage not to do it without falling into a pit that you might not get out of. That's what I will go over, because in all the videos that I saw on internet, lots of good explanation, and I will give you the links in the description. However, none of the problems I encountered were described in the installation videos I saw, nor were there solutions given, so this is what I will detail. ZenView Studio is much more than a recording studio. We are looking for new clients, artists, bands that want to record their new albums and create videos and maybe do live stream while you record, where some of these video footages might be directly used for their pre-release of albums or events. In this channel, we will share with you ideas, insights, and attempts and our inspiration, hoping to be of help to you. So don't hesitate to contact us for your next recording creation project. This is why I fully agree, I must say, with Rick Beato and Dave Natal when they said that today's concerts are now rather shows with a lot more than just music. This is why we're not only a recording studio, but also a visual studio. I consider visual has become an integral part of music success today. And although we still believe that music is a show on its own, we understand the importance of visuals to be successful. In this visual approach, we had to prepare for an upgrade of our computers to be able to properly do live streams and now allow our MacBooks to run the latest software like OBS Studio, CapCut, and DaVinci Resolve. My aim with the studio channel is to become a sort of a catalyst of your imagination and maybe of your musical experiments, and certainly to try to help you best achieve your goals. Now on to the practical stuff. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This will help us a lot and will keep you informed on new videos like this. And also be sure to click on the like button. I sure will like that. All right, before we start, you ought to know a few words. The first one is NVRAM. It's the little memory section that's battery backed up and that holds where the computer boots from. In that memory that the computer knows which drive, which partition it will select. The second one is the bootloader. That's the software that's that's loading the operating system. That's the software that knows how to handle the hard drive, the SSD drive, format it, etc., etc. The third one, it's the operating system. Namely, in this case, what we're trying to install is OS Sequoia. That's the OS. Lastly, but not least, you have to have a bootloader that knows how to handle the proper partition. And in the case of MacBook 2010 and Sequoia, well, we have a problem. The problem is the following, is that the 2010 Macs don't support APFS drive. So what's an APFS drive? Well, that's the new format that Apple devised. It replaces HEFS file system that you might have heard of. And this is where you need a new bootloader, a new software that will enable to format, create a partition, and create APFS drives in essence. Okay, so this is where OpenCore software, the software that I give you links in the description, comes into play. This is this software that will allow the computer to speak with the hardware and make believe that the hardware is a newer hardware and that Sequoia sees a new Mac, when in fact it's not. That's just the drivers that comes with OpenCore that will allow that. So on to that. Okay, so I will go over several of the problems that you might encounter. OpenCore Patcher, this is what you have downloaded to install the new Mac OS Sequoia, is very good at many things, but it lacks a little bit friendliness. The main pitfalls are this. The first one is that when you try to the build and install, that's very easy. And it's generally gives no problem. And you install to the drive that you want the thing on, okay? The OS Sequoia on. You have to have first, at least you have to have a drive which is empty where you will install the OS. That's the first requirement that nobody explains, but it's a real requirement. So let's say you have a 256 gig drive, you have to have 128 gig space to install Sequoia. That's a good beginning. I mean, that's a necessary beginning. Secondly, you need to have an external drive that you will have handy. An external drive, something like this thing, which in this case, it's a 500 giga drive, which I formatted entirely to run the OS installer. I would recommend that you have at least 60 gigabyte of space so you don't run into any problems. And this is another thing. This download system from OpenCore is very good, except it's very bad at telling you beforehand that it will not have enough room. And it generally, when it does, it fails generally. So for OS Sequoia, 60 gigabyte is a good start to have a drive with 60 gigabyte. You cannot have a drive that is partitioned. So the 500 gigabyte drive I used, I erased completely. So be aware of that. If not, you have to have a 64 gigabyte USB key that holds 64 gigabytes. That's what I would recommend to be on the safe side and have no problem. This is one of the main pitfalls to try to get the install running. Okay, once you've done this, you eventually arrive here and you install and everything seems to be fine and dandy. One thing that can happen is that you might have problem with the post-install. I mean, some of the things that were installed by the software, and you can use this menu to stop and start again. Namely, I will show you something. This is what can happen. Sometimes it depends on the machine. If you run into a config problem with the graphic card. So in this case, you have to revert and disapply the patch. That's what I showed with this thing. And in fact, with this, you have an option to revert. So you have to do that 2 times, reboot, and eventually everything will come back. So this is one other pitfall you might find is that instead of having the Sequoia normal screen, something like this, where you see everything normal, you might have, let's see, the white screen like this, okay? So that's one of the pitfalls. Don't panic if that's the case. You have to you revert, that means you disapply the patch, you reboot, you reapply the patch. Now, normally it should come back and you're all set. And if this happens again, well, this is the way you have to do it. That's one of another one of the tricks that you have to know. Another thing you might want to know is that this is the screen you would get if you boot and you press on the Alt button. And here you can see that you have what is called the EFI, and that's this bootloader, special bootloader that was added, and that will allow APFS partition to run. Without that, you wouldn't be able to run any newer OSs. So this is another thing you have to understand. It's all normal that it appears like this. This is just in case you want to see what's going on, really. You press the Alt button and you go there. Normally, you shouldn't have to go through that screen. As a reminder, this is what it looks like when everything is normal. Now that we're finished, you can see Mac OS Sequoia and that's the preferred uh, drive that I chose. I can show you if we go now in the options, no, sorry, not here, but if we go in the preferences of the system, we have said, let's see here on the boot disk, sorry, it's in French, that this is Sequoia that's chosen, okay? This is and this is what you see when you go to this window. This is Sequoia, and this will boot always on Sequoia. However, while this screen appears without doing anything, you can change also the time, but this is a small parameter you can change in the OpenCore Patcher. Anyway, while this screen appears, you can click on this and get to the old installed of El Capitan and still use the El Capitan install that you have on the computer, obviously. So that sums it up. I hope this helps and will bring you safely to Sequoia. So I hope to see you soon on the channel and hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and click on the like button.